Cody called me not long ago and said, "What if I just put all of us on every title?" And honestly, I was shocked. I thought, is the sky falling? What's going on? But at the same time, it sounded great. I told him, yeah, that's fine, even though inside I felt unsure. Right away, I thought, I need to make sure Meri knows because I absolutely did not trust Cody to call her. I still have no idea why he avoids things like that. But that's just how he is. You know, we bought Coyote Pass before we even moved to Flagstaff. Back then, we bought into a dream, a big one. But that dream is gone now. It's been 2 years since Cody and I ended things, and still, we're not all on the titles. I've been asking for that forever, and really, it should be simple. He just has to add everyone to the paperwork. It's not that complicated. Later, when we were out there, hi, the smell in the air hit me. It reminded me of growing up in Montana. That little moment made everything feel heavier. I just want to be done with Coyote Pass. But Robyn, she's had the hardest time letting go of that dream. It felt like the right time to finally figure out what to do. Scared? Why? Why do you say that? There was this pause, almost suspenseful. I just want to sell, I said. I want to be rid of it. It's a source of pain. She asked where I stood now, and honestly, I didn't even know. I've struggled to make peace with the whole thing. If we sell it, we're officially admitting that this dream never came true. And that's tough. Coyote Pass was a huge part of our lives, at least in our minds. As we stood there, we looked out at the land. It really is beautiful. When I lived closer, I used to go out there all the time, trying to put good energy into it, telling myself, we'll get out here someday. Saying goodbye feels like giving up, especially because we never actually did anything with it. And you know what? I'm not even sure I ever really believed we'd all end up living there. I could imagine myself on the land. Sure, it's gorgeous. But realistically, nobody truly wanted to be there. Christine didn't want it. Meri would have gone along only if everyone else did. And Robyn, well, she already had a house that practically filled the role of her Coyote Pass dream house. Honestly, after we first moved to Flagstaff, it became clear pretty quickly that Coyote Pass wasn't going to happen. I joked, maybe once it sells, everyone will be so relieved that they'll actually be nice to each other again. But even I knew there had been a lot of miscommunication, fast and fiery miscommunication. Like those little firecrackers. You light one, and suddenly they're all popping one after another. Sometimes I felt like saying, whoa, hang on, she didn't mean that, he didn't mean that. Maybe one day we'll all look back and say, that was petty. Let's just be kind. But who knows? Cody tried to lighten the mood, talking about Robyn's angelic conscience, how she keeps him from doing anything naughty, even if he wants to. But underneath the joke, he was struggling too. It's hard for him to move on from what he believed our family could be. For him, that land is a symbol. I've said it 100 times, he told me. I'm sorry. But this still would have happened. He knows he needs to move on. We all do. Everyone else is already moving forward. Cody wants to sell. Janelle wants to sell. Meri wants to sell. And even though it feels wrong to me, like I'm betraying myself or the family, I'm running out of options. It is what it is. It's just hard. And he's right. It is a symbol. That's exactly why saying goodbye hurts. Then he asked me something unexpected. If I ever felt like selling everything, packing up and just moving away. Not from Flagstaff, he said, but from the emotional space we've all been stuck in. I told him the kids have done well here. But heartache doesn't care about geography. It follows you. He said he had plenty of hard times before we came here, before he ever met me. And in that moment, we were both carrying the weight of what this land once meant and what it never became. I don't know. Maybe with time things will settle. What I really want is enough space, literal and emotional, so the kids can come over, feel comfortable, and just be. And honestly, he agreed. One day when your kids decide they want to come over, he said. It was interesting to hear him say that. This house has been a blessing in many ways, but it's also where my heart was broken more times than I can count. It's where I got that horrible phone call about my son's passing. There's so much pain tucked into these walls. I've wanted help, desperately, just to deal with all of it. Music plays softly. Hey, how are you? Good. How are you doing? Good. I told her I'd been moving things forward with my lawyer, and I knew Meri had been doing the same. Then I shared the news that Cody had called me recently and said, "What if I put all of us on all the titles?" And once again, I was thinking, is the sky falling? What is happening? Still, I told him it sounded great, but inside, I kept thinking, I need to make sure Meri knows, because honestly, I do not trust Cody to call her. No idea why he's like that. He just is. So, I called her and said, "Hey, I wanted to touch base about the last thing we talked about. I'd sent documents to my lawyer, and he wanted me to follow up on Cody's email, the one about putting all four of us on all the property pieces." And right around then, Cody called me again, saying we could each get a portion of every piece and settle things that way. I told her, I'm open to it if you are. She said she was too, but she'd been frustrated. She told me she'd followed up back in June, and now it was late August, and she still hadn't heard one word from him. She thought it was strange that I got the call instead of her, especially since her email had basically asked, "Are you open to this?" I explained that he asked me first, and I told him, "That's fine. But have you talked to Meri?" And he said, "Why don't you talk to Meri?" And all I could think was, why is he afraid to talk to her? Who knows? Truly, who knows? It's maddening. He goes around saying he wants to be friends with me, but then he won't actually talk to me. Same with them. I've upset Meri and Janelle completely, not on purpose. I really didn't know what to do. Meri, bless her, can be a bit delicate, an eggshell in a way. And I didn't know how to handle the situation, so I kind of avoided it. And then suddenly she's like, "Well, I'm going legal." And I'm going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold on. We're selling the property. Everyone will get their 25%. Why is everyone so upset?" Well, turns out half the problem was that none of us were talking. I was confused, he was confusing, and honestly, all of it just felt ridiculous. So dumb. And then he pulls this whole victim act, like everyone is so mean to him. Meanwhile, he has this new, shy, very pretty wife. His words, by the way. She's shy. She's really pretty. Well, good for him. I mean, I was a little shy when we got married too, but I was never submissive. Maybe he misjudged all his wives. Apparently, none of us fit his type. So maybe his type now is shy, submissive, and pretty. Whatever. Sorry, had to have a tiny ex-wives club moment there. Anyway, I asked him again why he wouldn't talk to Meri, and he said, "Because I'm afraid to. She'll be mean to me. I can't handle it." Honestly, that's not fair. To put any of us in the middle. This should be a conversation with all four of us. I don't know why he refuses to show up. I even invited him to this conversation. He flat out said, "No, I don't like you. And I told him, well, that's fine. I don't like you either. And honestly, I meant it. I really don't care anymore. Whatever he thinks or says doesn't bother me because I'm long past caring. But the funny thing is, they're finally being honest. No, I don't like you. Great. I don't like you either. Oddly enough, that's progress. From a therapeutic standpoint, I've learned something. When you don't have the emotion anymore, when the anger and heartbreak are gone, that's when you've truly moved past the relationship. So, honestly, congratulations. I'll admit it. I'm having way too much fun at his expense. I know I shouldn't, but the things he says, they're just hilarious. He tries so hard to get a reaction out of me, and I genuinely just don't care anymore. And honestly, the property still has value. When it finally sells, it'll be a nice little parting gift for all of us. I joked, so we're all getting a farewell present. Something to say, see you later, hope I never see you again. I mean, if we're not getting alimony, I suppose this parting gift will do, right? And listen, if I had been legally married to Cody, oh, you better believe I would have taken half. Absolutely. Half the assets would have been mine, no question. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Janelle. Bye. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Then I went inside. Hi, my love. And honestly, it did feel like a good thing. I have hope now that all this will happen. But I'm not holding my breath. I know exactly how Cody Brown works. So, we'll see. Coyote Pass has to be sold, one way or another. Meri and Janelle deserve their fair share. And if the sale of that land becomes our clean break, our final exit from the old relationships, then maybe we can all finally move on. So, I want to show you the paperwork I got from the title company, he said. We just need to sign. He explained that he'd arranged it so he could quick claim the lot he and Janelle shared over to Meri. Then he and I would share the other lot. And all four of us would be listed equally on the remaining sections. That makes every one of us a 25% owner of the entire Coyote Pass property. Now that we want to sell everything, this is the cleanest way. Put all four names on the titles so the profit is divided evenly when the land sells. The only question is, will it sell? We don't know. But honestly, I can't imagine why it wouldn't. He told me he wanted to move, not out of Flagstaff, but out of this house. This home, as beautiful as it is, holds too many painful memories for him. Even though he loves it, the idea of a fresh start feels really appealing. It's become a lonely place. 5 years here, and 4 of those years have been filled with struggle. And after 3 divorces in 3 years, he's had to shrink down what he once thought was a big, meaningful, joyful experience into something overwhelmed by disappointment. Do you have time to sit down and talk? He asked. Yeah, I said. He told me he's been sorting through his emotions. He said, I've got this happy life with you and the kids, but this memory, because of the divorces, it just got twisted into something painful. I don't want it to stay that way. He wants us to start over, and I get that. But we'd need enough space. Space for everyone. I'd love a place where the grandkids can visit, where all our children feel comfortable coming home, knowing there's room for them. And honestly, I think Truly would come stay if she had a place that felt like her own. I really feel it's important for Cody to rebuild his relationships with his kids. If he's right, if having space really does help them come around, I'm all for it. Then he asked, Are you okay with moving? That one hit hard. Because driving past Coyote Pass, watching houses go up where our family dream was supposed to be, That's going to hurt. Deeply. We live so close to it that I'd see strangers building lives on land that once represented our future. That's going to be painful. Every day I'd be staring at a reminder of everything falling apart. I told him, this house holds so much of that pain too. But heartache follows you. It doesn't go away just because you move somewhere new. Not until you fix what's inside. He looked at me and asked, are you okay with starting over? And honestly, yeah, it makes sense. We stepped out onto the deck. I want to go out there and feel it, he said. Really feel what starting a new adventure would mean. So we stood there, the two of us, trying to figure out, what do we need to do to officially let go of the old chapter and step into a new one? You know, I've had a lot of creative thoughts about all of this. And listening to him, I can understand where he's coming from. But I'm not convinced that selling the house and moving is the answer. I'm truly not sure. When I start talking about it, I get nostalgic. I find myself wondering, is this really what I want? But deep down, I think I need to move forward. I need to keep going. How about you? I asked him. He said he needed a day or two to think. Can we pray about it? He asked. Yes, I told him. Of course we can. Then he suddenly lit up with what he called the best idea, the absolute best idea. Let's just look for a home that you want, that I want, or that we want. I teased him. Well, when Mama's happy, everybody's happy. He added, Daddy has to be happy too. But I made it clear, I need my own space, a workspace, room for the kids, the grandkids, truly, and just a little more time to think. He agreed. But, he added, if we see a home we like, let's go look at it. Okay, I said. We can do that. Later, I'd been reading on social media that Cody and Robyn might have a new house. And honestly, I wondered how that might affect the sale of Coyote Pass. From what people were saying, the mortgage is substantial. A good-sized mortgage. If that's true, he's going to need the cash from the land, maybe even urgently. And that's what makes me nervous. When someone needs money, sometimes they get a little greedy. And knowing Cody, well, that's a possibility. Tell me what's going on with the family, she asked me. I explained that Janelle and I had been talking, mostly about the property, because that's the one thing that still hasn't changed. Coyote Pass is still in the same limbo it's been in for years. Cody's name is on all 4 lots. Mine is still on the one I co-own with Cody and Janelle. There is absolutely no reason why the 4 of us couldn't already be listed as equal owners. It should have been done long ago, especially after he and Christine made their agreement, where she got the proceeds from selling her house and then signed her share of the property over. Not to all of us, but only to him and Robyn. That's how it ended up being just the 2 of them on more of the land. And none of it was ever a group conversation. It just happened, whether we were told or not. At a certain point, I just said, how much longer are we going to do this? How much longer until you accept that he's an ass and you don't owe him this politeness? She laughed. I already realized it. The question is, how much longer are you going to give him? I said, 6 weeks. If this potential buyer isn't under contract by then, my attorney takes over. It's time for you to end the nice girl era, she told me. It's not helping you. It only helps him. And she was right. It is self-inflicted pain at this point. But I admitted, I just don't want to be... She interrupted. Join me on the dark side. She smiled and added, I want you to learn to say the things you think, the things you stop yourself from saying. You don't always have to hold back. Repeat after me, she said. You do not control me. so I repeated it. You do not control me. She stopped me. Less smile. So I said it again, firm this time. You don't control me. And honestly, it felt good. Really good. Then she added, get your stuff together. I repeated it, laughing. Get your stuff together. Comb your hair, Cody. That one came out strong, maybe a little too strong. She said, wow, that came from your soul. Then came the big one. Where's my money? I said it, but I'll be honest, my chest tightened. It actually gave me anxiety to say it out loud.